Hello and welcome in, friends, to Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, and I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. It is week 15 in the NFL, and it is time to make our NFL confidence picks. But before we get into all that, if you are here in the city of Chicago, we need to talk a little bit about what happened in the Bears Cowboys game that now has changed things a little bit. And of course, if you're following us on youtube.com/Mike Mercado 2333 or searching Mercado Airwaves Network, or on facebook.com/Mercado Airwaves, you could see us doing this live on video. And of course, thank you so much for joining us wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. And you can see the score 31-24, the Bears moving to 7-6, the Cowboys going to 6-7, and all the stats. But what I really want to talk about is almost the philosophical idea of what's going on here. So obviously, what I'm trying to work out in my mind is what does this mean? I do not think the Bears are going to make the playoffs. I mean, I think there's a 3% chance they mentioned that is where we would end up seeing them. But there is no way that this Bears team is going to catch that many breaks. And I'm not one of these, a pessimist when it comes to sports. I don't believe all the time that it's your bad luck and there's bad mojo and whatnot. Like, I get there's weird, consistencies and stuff, but in the NFL, it's hard to get that many breaks. Now, you can, because the outcome of one game, any given situation, anything can happen in this league. But for the Bears to count on beating the Packers on Packers week, right? You have to have Minnesota lose. Then you have to beat Kansas City next week. And then you have to hope that Minnesota continues to lose just to have your last game mean something. I don't think 9-7 gets you to the playoffs. I sure as hell don't think 8-8 does in this NFC this year. I don't even know if 10-6 gets you in. And if you're watching this right here, we'll go ahead and jump into the standings in the NFC. I mean, and if you look, the 49ers at 11-2, the Seahawks at 10-3. Big one. Then you have a 10-3 Packers team, a 9-4 Vikings team, a 10-3 New Orleans team, and then you get yourself an 8-5 LA team with the Rams, and finally the 7-6 Bears. There's a lot of things that have to go on. Now, the NFC East is garbage. You have a 6-7 and a 6-7 teams between the Cowboys and the Eagles, who it's whoever decides to back into the playoffs. That's a situation where probably an 8-8 team can get there and host a playoff game, but that's a whole different situation. You got to have some incentive to win the division. But I think it's really fascinating that a lot of Bears fans do have confidence that this Bears team will be able to make that type of run. And especially it coming during Packer week. Now, I understand that Mitchell Trubisky has been playing better. It's in college terms, they went back to 101 instead of 201. They quote unquote dumbed it down a little bit for him. They're catering to him, which you should. There's no sense of believing in a guy, loving a guy's attributes, and then not being friendly to them, to not catering to them. And that's what I feel has happened. Matt Nagy, I think, does have great offensive mind and offensive mindset when it comes to creating plays. But again, this isn't Madden. This isn't an algorithm. This isn't paper. This is real life, and they know what the talent is. And I think they're finally starting to cater to it. And I think you're seeing it also with the run game. David Montgomery's being a little bit more active. He's getting the ball. He got the ball 20 times against Dallas, I believe. It's just very interesting where this puts you now. And the value of these wins, this is what's crazy. Obviously, they don't have a first-round pick. They have a lot of other picks that they'll be able to maneuver and kind of get where they want to go. But I think normally I would be like, just lose. Like, for instance, if you're a Bulls fan, they're not making a run in the playoffs. And if they do get to the playoffs, the only people who benefit are the ownership that give 2 playoff game payouts. And when you have that, that's when you want to lose. You want to be in the draft. You want even just the probability or the possibility that you get an impact player eventually for your future. In the Bears' case, They're not getting a first-round pick. They're not getting a quarterback. They're not getting this big name that's going to change everything and everybody thinks is unanimously the number one pick. They're going to have to put things together and do a good scouting job. So if that's the case, you might as well try your luck and try to get into a position where if you're one of the final 6 in your conference, anybody can win a Super Bowl. I think the Ravens probably are the favorite right now. But a few weeks ago, that was Kansas City. And in the beginning of the season, that was New England. It's a very fluid league. So the only bright side, if you're a Bears fan, philosophically speaking, is the fact that anything can happen if you're one of these final teams come December into January. It's a mountain to get there in this particular situation if you're the Bears, if you're a Bears fan. Of course, it happens in a year where the division is super strong and wide open at the same time. And I will harp on it forever. That is why last year was such a disappointment. And for them to have said it's all on Cody Parkey, as if they were going to beat the Rams, as if the Vikings or Saints were going to roll over for them, as if New England was a gimme. They didn't address anything. They didn't get better. The offense took a step back, and now they're in a hole because of it. Now, they have put themselves in a position the last 3 weeks. They've looked good. They've beaten the teams they're supposed to beat. Now they're in a position that they can maybe have the lottery ticket, the golden ticket. But this wouldn't be the case had they taken care of business in the beginning of the season. And more importantly, during the offseason. So very interesting to see how this will break down during Packer week, though, as we get ready for one of the biggest rivalries in the NFL in this team's 100th year of existence. We'll see what ends up happening. But we move on to the actual games themselves, and we start off with, let me go ahead and get rid of this for all you fascinating people watching us here, and we get ready as our Thursday picks. And it's fascinating. If you look here as we're doing this on CBS Sports, our confidence picks, and if you've been following us all season, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Also, we hope you all are having good luck in the fantasy football playoffs. I ended up going 1-1. The more quote-unquote important league I lost, and we'll get into it maybe at the end of the season. But I won one of the other ones, so good luck to each and every one of you who are starting the playoffs this week or who are continuing on for a championship. Moving on to this Thursday night football game, though, if you're looking at these picks, 100%, it looks like people are betting on Baltimore over the Jets. Now, there's this talk about Lamar Jackson being hurt. At the end of the day, I think Baltimore is just a better team, and we have not heard anything saying he's not going to play. And it being a short week, I think they would like to just jump on the Jets fast and get this game out of the way and then get 10 days off. So if I'm going to pick Baltimore, here's the thing, though. I'm not going to put all the points on them, but I definitely do like them in this matchup. Now we have Denver at Kansas City. I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one. This is a game where I think Denver's going to put up some points. A big upset last week against Houston, but I think that Kansas City will win this game. They're going to start getting ready for this playoff push that they're going to try to get into, and they're going to at some point they got to get quote unquote right. And it looks like we're heading into that matchup of Kansas City Baltimore. But this is one of those games where they could really start working some things out, and it being home, it'd be a nice padding in the division and go ahead and set themselves up for a playoff run. We have the Eagles versus Washington. I'm going to go Philadelphia in this one. Somebody has to win this division. Somebody has to. I'll go with the Eagles in this game. We have the Buccaneers versus Detroit. One of the main reasons I'm not moving on in my main league in fantasy football is poor Mike Evans in a big 60-yard play for a touchdown, messes up his hamstring, and it's not going to play this week. Matthew Stafford, I don't think he's playing the rest of the year. There's going to be a bunch of points, I think, in this game. I'm not too sure who's going to win. I will say this, though. Because there's so many points, I'm going to go with the road team. I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the Lions in this matchup. We have the Patriots in Cincinnati. I will go with New England, and it's funny because of everything that's going on now with the videotaping of the coaches and what's going to happen with New England. At the end of the day, you know how I feel about all this. Everybody's trying to cheat and get away with something. I think the worst part is when you're trying to be so blatant ignorant about it and lie about it. So I'm going to go with New England because they're the better team, but you talk about a team that needs to get right. Watch them go off for a few points in this matchup. We have the Seahawks and Carolina. Seahawks, I think, need a bounce back after that matchup against the Rams. Carolina losing their coach, and Christian McCaffrey really hasn't been the impact that he was earlier on the season when people thought he was going to give a run to Lamar Jackson for MVP. I'm going to go with Seattle in this matchup, and they're going to put up a bunch of points in this game. We got Miami at the Giants. Depends if Eli's playing, if Daniel Jones is playing. Either way, I think the Giants win this game because it's in New York. If it were in Miami, I'd go the other way. But Miami going to New York, I'll go with the Giants in this matchup. Houston and Tennessee. Here's the elephant in the room when it comes to Tennessee. At what point does Ryan Tannehill come back down to earth? Does he ever? Is this some magical Disney movie that's about to happen down in Nashville? Is Houston going to finally step up in a game and win when they're supposed to? Deshaun Watson is one of the premier young quarterbacks in this league. Could use a big win. Could use a big moment. I'm going to go with Houston one more time. Going to go with Houston. At some point, reality has to strike down on Tennessee, right? Maybe we're all wrong, and Tannehill is the truth now, but this will be it. This is the last time I could bet against them, I guess, right? This is the matchup, and this might be the last time I'll bet with Houston. We have the Bears and the Packers at Green Bay. I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. I like the Bears. They're my home team. I'm a fan, but at what point does the norm and what we've seen become reality? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no longer coincidences. This is a trend. This is a 500 Bears team. And when you notice in the NFL, when you're a 500 team, when you're a 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 team, you win some big games and you lose some big games. And you always are that team that people can't quite get. And they were, quote unquote, supposed to lose to Dallas. They win that game. Dominate that game, to be honest. Right here, it'd be easy if you're looking for the Packers to really take a step back. Like, yeah, this is the trap game. They're going to lose. Think Aaron Rodgers. I think this team knows that they could really put the division away right now while bearing the Bears' 100th season. After what happened last year, especially what happened after last year. I'm going to go with the Packers in this matchup. I hope the Bears find a way to win this one, but I just don't have any confidence in them. And this is one where I'll be more than happy to be wrong about. We have the Vikings and the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Vikings at this point. You talk about another team that knows they need to win, and they could really go ahead and just put a stamp into the playoffs with a big win in Los Angeles. And there's going to be a bunch of Viking fans getting ready to celebrate their holiday heading into LA. We have the Jaguars and Oakland. Two teams. I think there's going to be a crazy high-scoring game. We have Jacksonville going all the way to Oakland. Oakland winding down its run in the Bay. So I'm going to go with the Raiders in this matchup. We have the Browns and the Cardinals. Again, the Browns are a bad team. Arizona's a bad team. They might look good against each other because there won't be any defense. But obviously something's wrong with the offense in Cleveland. I like Baker Mayfield. I like somebody with a little bit of attitude, especially in this type of sport. Do I think just like regular science, human interaction and chemistry and the way they put together and mix each other sometimes is great mixture, sometimes okay, sometimes lousy, and not even by anybody's attention. It's just that's how it is sometimes. And I think that's what happened to this Cleveland locker room. I think they like each other. I don't think there's any crazy beef on this team. I just don't think they mix well together. That happens in life all the time. So I'm going to go and pick Cleveland in this matchup. Arizona's a little tempting, but I'll go Cleveland in this game. We have the Rams and Dallas. Oh boy. If Dallas loses this game, all hell will break loose. And here's the thing. The Rams have to really keep in pace of what's going on. You talk about the Bears and the Vikings. The Rams have all this pressure of Los Angeles being in the Super Bowl, the young upstart quarterback who got all the money, and Jared Goff, Sean McVay, the hot, young, go-getting coach who changed the hiring system of the damn league. And they're fighting. They're crawling. Dallas's defense has been letting people down. There's tape on it. People know how to beat this team. I think Jared Goff will go off once again and trick people. This is a Rams victory, in my opinion. We have the Falcons and the Niners. The Niners are for real, at least for this season. They're going to the Bay. I'm going to go with San Francisco dominating this game. How about this? Flexed into prime time. The Buffalo Bills going to Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin might be coach of the year, or John Harbaugh. I'm not too sure. But what about, I can't think of his name, Madonna in Buffalo? I'm going to look that up right now. This is a really interesting matchup because you have two teams that are fighting for playoff positions. They're not necessarily anybody's darling. They do have pieces that we like, but I'm going to go ahead and pick Baltimore. I'm going to go ahead and pick Buffalo in this game. Sean McDermott is the head coach of the Bills. I'm going to pick the Bills in this game. I like the Bills. I like Josh Allen. I like John Brown. I like Devin Singletary. I like them when they're playing at home. Now, obviously, this being in Pittsburgh, but I think this is going to be a fun game, especially for Sunday night. I'm going to go with the Bills winning a big primetime game on Sunday Night Football. And on Monday night, how about an interesting one here? We have the Colts and the Saints. The Saints losing a heartbreaker to San Francisco, one of the great games of the season. Kind of one of the reasons that I was taken out of the playoffs because Jimmy Garoppolo just went absolutely ape shit crazy. But I'm going to go ahead and pick the Saints because they are home at this matchup. And more than anything, they are a great team. They will ride the ship, and they will be one of the main contenders in the NFC to win a Super Bowl. But it is now time to put some points onto it, friends. And we look around. There's some really interesting matchups where there are some favorites. I'm willing to put, I have confidence in them. Jimmy Garoppolo, local boy. My brother played him in high school football. I was a Niner fan. Shout out to Jerry Rice, and I was a Steve Young fan. Jeff Garcia was my guy. So I've always been a big San Francisco fan, quote unquote San Francisco fan. But I'll go with the Niners in this matchup. I'll go with Kansas City on 15 points. And of course, if you're new to the program, first of all, thank you for joining us. But we'll go over all these. I'll go with Seattle getting right. We keep looking around. And we look around the clock. Let's see. New England. I'm going to put some points on New England. New England's going to make people really upset with this one. Then I'll go Baltimore. Then I will go looking around. I then will go with probably Minnesota at 10 points. Might regret that, but we'll look over it in a little bit. Keep searching around. I like New Orleans heading up this one. I like New Orleans a little bit more than Minnesota and Philadelphia. So we'll go that way. We keep looking through, and you guys could actually watch this if you're liking us on Facebook.com/Mercado Airwaves or YouTube.com/MikeMercado2333. Search Mercado Airwaves Network. And thank you for joining us on the podcast version. We really appreciate you guys, and we'll run this down at the very end with the picks and the confidence points that we're putting on there. I think for sure the one game I'm not really confident in, I will drop Chicago down to 1 point. I will drop well, now that I know that, let's go ahead and start putting some of these up. I'll be willing to put 8 points. I'll put 7 points on the Rams. So I need to find an 8-point team. I'll put 8 points on. No, I'm not willing to bet with Cleveland that much. I'll put 8 points on. I guess I'll put 8 on the Rams over Dallas. I'll put 7 on Detroit over Tampa. I'll put 6 on Oakland over Jacksonville. I'll put 5 on Houston over Tennessee, 4 on the Giants. You know what? I'll put Cleveland a little bit higher. I'll put them at 5 points. And you know what? I'll go ahead and put 3 points on Buffalo. You know what? I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to put 3 points on the Bears beating the Packers. Because at the end of it, it is going to just take a few big plays for Chicago. And it's not out of the realm of possibility. They have been playing well. Green Bay is not a great defense. They do have some weapons, but the Bears defense is still top tier. And honestly, betting-wise, I think this is a safer bet than some of these others. So I will go with Chicago. I've been kind of going iffy on it, but I definitely feel like, you know what? This is not, if they're going to make a serious run in it, this isn't the game they're going to lose. So I'll go with that one. I'll just go with the gut feeling. So let's go ahead and run these bad boys down before Thursday Night Football kicks off Week 15. We have the San Francisco 49ers beating Atlanta. We have 16 points on them. 15 confidence points on the Chiefs over the Broncos. 14 points on the Seahawks over the Panthers. 13 confidence points on the Patriots over the Bengals. 12 confidence points on Baltimore over the Jets. We have 11 confidence points on the Saints beating the Colts. We have 10 confidence points on Minnesota beating the Superchargers. 9 confidence points on the Eagles over Washington. 8 on the LA Rams beating the Dallas Cowboys. 7 confidence points on the Lions beating Tampa Bay in Detroit. 6 confidence points in the Raiders beating the Jaguars. 5 confidence points in Cleveland over Arizona. 4 confidence points in the Texans beating the Titans. 3 confidence points on the Bears beating the Packers in the oldest rivalry in the NFL. 2 confidence points on the Bills beating the Steelers. And 1 confidence points on the Giants beating the Dolphins. But that'll do it for us, guys, on Sports from the Couch Confidence Picks for the 2019 season, Week 15, here on Mercado Airwaves. I am your host, Mike Mercado. Thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure you follow us all over the universe. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media and on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Search us on YouTube.com/Mercado Airwaves Network and subscribe to us right there. Visit us at Patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. We have a bunch of tiers if you would like to go ahead and support the network, where you can get early access to our interviews with athletes and celebrities. You could be entered in contests to win prizes, polls, so that you could go ahead and answer questions and be interactive with the show. That's Patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. And please like, rate, review, and share us wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. The growth of the network has only been because of each and every one of you, and we appreciate all the support. We love each and every one of you guys. Thank you all so much. We will see you next time here on Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves. Enjoy all the games. I'm Mike Mercado.